What happens when we build an entire city on the moon before humanity is ready to live there? The first arrivals would not be settlers. They would be machines. Their mission would be to build the infrastructure that humans could not bring with them. Power and communications come first, because nothing else can operate without them. Then the construction system begins preparing the ground itself. For the first time, the moon is no longer just a destination. It becomes a construction site. But the factory still has nothing to build with until it starts using the moon itself.
And that is where the real construction begins.
The moon already has one thing the city needs: raw material. The regolith is sorted, crushed, and prepared for different construction processes. Instead of launching every kilogram of construction material from Earth, the factory could make use of what is already beneath its machines. The first products would not be skyscrapers. They would be infrastructure. Landing areas, foundations, roads, and protective structures could be built from locally processed material. Every structure reduces one more thing that has to cross the distance from Earth. But building on the moon is not just about making structures. It is about surviving the environment. So the next layer of the city will have to protect the people inside it. But building on the moon is not the same as building on Earth. There is no atmosphere to protect the settlement, and no natural shield against the space environment. Radiation, micrometeoroids, extreme temperatures, and abrasive lunar dust all become engineering problems. So protection has to be built into the architecture itself. The factory turns local material into a barrier between the settlement and the moon's harshest conditions. But a shield is useless without a controlled environment behind it. Inside, the future settlement will need pressure, thermal control, air management, water systems, and continuous monitoring. The moon is providing the material. Now the factory has to make the habitat capable of keeping life inside it. But a city cannot survive on shelter alone. It needs power. Every system depends on it, from the factory and communications network to life support inside the habitats. So the settlement needs a reliable power system designed for the moon, not for Earth. Energy storage keeps critical systems operating when generation falls or conditions change. From there, electricity flows through a controlled grid across the growing settlement. The factory can now run continuously, producing the materials needed to expand the settlement. And as the factory grows, the power network grows with it. Now the moon has something it never had before: an expanding industrial power network built to support a settlement.
Power can run the machines, but it cannot keep people alive.
A settlement would need to recover, purify, and reuse its most valuable resource: water. Every drop used for drinking, hygiene, or agriculture would have to become part of the recovery cycle. Air would follow the same principle: monitor it, regenerate what can be recovered, and keep the atmosphere controlled. Even waste becomes a resource when resupply from Earth is limited. Recovered materials can return to agriculture, maintenance, manufacturing, and construction. The result is not a single machine. It is a network of systems constantly feeding one another. And once those loops begin working together, the factory is no longer just building a settlement. It is helping the settlement sustain itself. Once the basic systems work together, the settlement can finally begin to grow. New habitats are added, connected to the same power, water, air, and communications networks. Controlled agriculture expands alongside the habitats, turning food production into another part of the infrastructure. And the factory expands with the settlement, producing replacement parts, structural components, and new infrastructure. Transport routes begin connecting the growing districts into one industrial settlement. What began as a construction site is becoming something much larger. A power grid, habitats, farms, industry, all connected into one growing system.
But there is still one thing missing from this city. Uavad. The people.
The city is ready for its first inhabitants. But before the first people enter, every critical system has to be checked. Pressure, temperature, air quality, water systems, and power must all remain stable inside the sealed habitats. Only then can the first settlers cross the airlock. For them, this is not a temporary landing site. It is the beginning of a new kind of home. More missions follow, bringing equipment, supplies, specialists, and eventually more people. And the system begins to change from a base that supports people into a settlement built around them.
What began with machines is now becoming a place where humanity can actually live.
And this is where the experiment becomes something much bigger. The settlement keeps expanding because every new generation creates new demands for power, food, materials, and space.
The factory that started the settlement now becomes the industrial heart of the city.
Nothing exists alone anymore. Resources, energy, recycling, agriculture, manufacturing, and habitation are connected.
Then the view changes.
From here, the moon no longer looks like a destination. It looks like a new human frontier. A great human migration would not happen in a single journey. It would begin one spacecraft, one habitat, and one factory at a time. The greatest migration in human history may not begin with millions of people. It may begin with a factory.